My name is Angelina Morrison, and the web quest that I have researched and am presenting for this class is Going Back in Time. My name is Angelina Morrison, and I am a mother, a wife, a behavioral therapist, and a student. This is my first web quest that I am creating, and I am excited to share web tools with my future students. I believe that I will be a good teacher because I will provide them with a positive learning environment and give them the tools and strategies to work through their behaviors while in school and in social settings. This web quest is designed to teach students how to differentiate between past events and current events in history. Students will be using web-based tools to create a timeline project on an individual in past history or in a family's life in past history. Students will need to explore their creativity and go back into time to create this timeline. I wanted to take a minute to go over my objectives. In this web quest, they will need to trace the history of a family through the use of primary and secondary sources from the 1900s to the 1970s. They will also need to identify important events in the family's life in order in which they occurred. Identify an event in a current family's life that happened within the last year in history. And finally, differentiate between things that happened long ago and things that happened yesterday. I will come back to my processes, step 1, step 2, and step 3, but I wanted to go over a few more things. My learners are going to be second grade level. The length of time for the project, they will have 45-minute period for 2 days. The computer access time, 45-minute period for 2 days. And 1 day in class for team presentations. And then I have provided my email address right here. The standards, the California state standards, are basically, the same as my objectives, and they are right here. The learning dispositions, this will show students a family timeline of Martin Luther King versus a timeline of current president such as Barack Obama. The materials needed for this project is worksheets for homework, timeline of me that I will have been provided for my kids, my students, worksheets for homework, placing events on a timeline based on the internet. For deep learning, I will provide them with a few websites such as www.askforkids.com, www.kidsclick.org, and these are web-based tools that will help students organize, navigate, and evaluate information for research. This web-based tool will provide students with brainstorming strategies for deep thinking into their timeline project to form ideas and to form results and evidence. It's very important to let my students know that web-based tools can be very complex, meaning very challenging, very hard, but I'm by their side 100% through this project. Alrighty. I will provide my students with an example using Martin Luther King. This is the example, as you can see right here, with a little chart of Martin Luther King. Okay, the task. Working with a partner, students will research a well-known family throughout Lake history, like we discussed, to create a project timeline to tell the story through pictures, interviews, documents using the internet. Through understanding the family's timeline, students will be able to differentiate between what happened long ago and the things that happened yesterday. These events should be marked with either brief title, caption, graphics, or pictures along with the date it happened. These events that highlight the family's personality, character, hobbies, accomplishments, and memorable events. It's important for my students to understand that these pictures, documents, and internet websites are all to be used on web-based tools. And this will help them, and through web-based tools they will be able to edit they will be able to research their timeline, the person that the individual that they had chose on these web-based tools, but then they're going to be able to use the web-based tools such as editing and forming conclusions and research to then finalize their project on a PowerPoint. This is my process, steps 1, steps 2, and steps 3. And in conclusion, the students' web quest purpose was to identify important events in the family's life. I want my students to be able to use these web-based tools for pictures editing, adding text, making timelines, and exploring creativity. Students need to use resources to make a timeline using a PowerPoint and research a past event that occurred in history. For students who need and want a challenge, they can use the provided web-based tools for adding videos and interviews and attaching documents. I need my students to have fun with this PowerPoint, get creative, and put on your thinking caps to go back in time to the years 1900s to the 1970s.